Hello everyone, we are back with another video here. This is round 1 of the Central Pennsylvania Championship. I'm playing 1200 in the first round. Vlad's over there watching from afar. So if you see him, we're here. And just go quickly through it here. This is no engine recap. I like to just share my thoughts and hopefully both learn something through this process. So I play e4 like usual, and my opponent plays the Karakhan. And I like to play for the fantasy variation with f3. You get a lot of wacky, fun positions with this. I really like it. And he ends up going e6. I don't see this very often. I usually see takes and then e5, battling for the center, opening up the squares near my king, and it's a very whatchamacallit, not provocative, but like very, like you're really fighting for the center here, and it's not a good idea for white to take this pawn with the queen trade, and this black will win back this pawn with a good position. So I see this very often. I do not see e6 very often, but it's definitely a good move, and I'm happy to get some practice against it. I play knight c3, and usually what I like to do, I play knight c3, I put my knight on c3, my bishop on e3, and I just play chess from there. He plays bishop e7. Usually people will commit their knight first and then move their bishop, or move this knight first and then move their bishop later. So it's interesting to see that he committed his bishop first. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure what to do. Like sometimes in these fantasy positions, I play a3. Sometimes I play e5. Sometimes I play bishop e3 first. I'm like, okay, what move order do I want to do? I'm not sure. I end up going bishop e3 because it can't be wrong. I mean, I'm just developing a piece. It feels pretty natural. And he goes knight d7, potentially preparing c5. Supported by both his knight and the bishop here. So I end up, I had a tough decision to make. I wanted to play a move like bishop d3, but I wasn't sure how to feel after c5, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to play. If I take, he could take, and knight takes, and then I have to move my bishop back. Maybe this is totally fine for me, though. I'm not 100% sure. He might even get d4 in, but then this pawn is weak. But is it, though? And, like, actually, more importantly, I feel like No, I don't lose the knight. It's guarded by the bishop, so maybe it's fine. But yeah, I wasn't sure how to feel about it though. And if I don't take c5, the pawn on c5, then if I play a move like knight e2, then the bishop is trapped. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to play after knight d7. I wanted to play bishop d3 and just continue developing, but I didn't like the prospects of c5. So instead, I played the move e5, gaining more space in the center, kind of fixing this pawn structure somewhat, and I was kind of happy with this. If he did play c5, I was planning to play a move f4, and if he took, I was going to take like this. And I'm not sure how much better this is compared to bishop d3, but I thought it wasn't bad. And also I have the idea, like let's say bishop c5, then takes, then the knight is not attacking the bishop on d3, and I can go queen g4 whenever I want, attacking this g7 pawn. So I thought this was a good way to play, and I wasn't afraid of anything.
It also looks to me like a lot of pawn moves.
Definitely a lot of pawn moves. Yeah, definitely a lot of pawn moves. Good point, Vlad. Like, yeah, like, don't try this at home. Don't try this at home. This is indeed a lot of pawn moves. And if you're not careful, you can get a bad position real quickly.
Oh, yeah. Especially since he's fixing his white square bishop in place.
Yeah, like
that's not going anywhere.
Yes, this light square bishop is bad. It's a bad bishop. So yeah, you have to know what you're doing here for both sides. Where white, you could easily overextend these pawns and like lose them. So you have to be very, very careful. Yeah, good point, Vlad. He takes, I take, and plays bishop. Oh, wait, no, this did not happen in the game. He plays h5. I think what he wants to solve the issue with this knight. That's what he wants to do. But if he goes knight h6 immediately, I just take and double up his pawns. So that's why he plays h5 first, so then he can go knight h6 without doubling up his pawns because he can take back with the rook. At least that's what I thought he was going to do. I play f4, moving my pawn out of the way so then my knight can hop into f3, which is the most natural square for it. I also open up my queen if he does move this h-pawn more, and my bishop can still go to this nice open diagonal as well. So I was feeling pretty good about my piece placement overall. He plays g6. I was surprised to see him not play knight h6 immediately. Like, I thought that was his whole idea. Just keep developing. I don't know what he didn't like about it. Maybe he didn't like the fact that this pawn is loose and he just loses the pawn. Now that I'm thinking about it, I guess this is why he didn't do it. Not only did he lose that pawn, but he can't actually move the knight because his rook is hanging. So I guess that's why he didn't play knight h6. I didn't realize that until like literally right now. So that's why I played g6. It seems reasonable enough to me. And then I played knight f3, and then he played knight h6 because now this pawn is no longer hanging. And then I played bishop. I thought I played bishop d3. I think once again I was thinking about bishop d3, but then I wasn't sure what to do after c5. And once again, I didn't want him to be attacking his bishop. But honestly, I probably shouldn't be concerned with it. But I actually don't hate the decision for myself to just wait and see what happens. I don't think that's a bad mentality to have. So I actually like my move queen d2 better than bishop d3. But of course, actually after c5, if he did play c5, bishop d3, c4 is not a threat because my bishop can just go back. But at the same time, he won connect 4, which is kind of scary. And also, the fact that this pawn is super advanced means it can actually be used to help advance his queenside pawns if I do castle queenside, which is what I actually do in the game. So I like my decision with going queen d2 and waiting to see what happens if he's going to play c5 or not. He goes knight f5, attacking my bishop. This bishop is not a good bishop. Like, it's just not. It's just not a good bishop. It's blocked in by my own pawns. But I wasn't sure how I felt after castles, knight takes, queen takes, and c5. I didn't know how to feel about this. Firstly, the biggest thing is his dark square bishop is unopposed. I do not have my own dark square bishop to counteract his. And let's say I take. I'm like, man, this bishop is good. This bishop is bad, but this bishop is good. And I couldn't convince myself to give up my dark square bishop for no reason other than it's bad and like I want a castle. Like, sure, those things are true, but I didn't see a reason to give it up. So even though it's a bad bishop, I was like, I'm gonna keep it, and I just played bishop f2 here, and once again the bishop is 3 squares away from the knight, which means chess geometry wise, this bishop controls the knight's movement very, very well. Okay, he plays a6, I castle, and I guess the point of a6 was that after c5, I don't have any knight b5 or bishop b5 nonsense. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if a6 was necessary or not. I thought he might be going for a b5 here. And then like a5, b5, and a4. So I actually thought here for a long time. In this position, actually. I thought here for a long time because I was trying to calculate after castles, b5, h3, a5, g4, b4, what's happening. Also, alternatively, after h5, g4, let's see. There's also this move instead of a5. There's move h4, clamping down with the pawns on the king side, which looked a little bit scary. And I was trying to figure out what counterplay do I have then. Maybe I go bishop d3. I try to take that and then play g4. I'm not sure. But now that I'm looking at it, b5 does look kind of scary. Um, I'm not even sure if I would go h3 or not, because h4 looks kind of strong. Maybe I would still go. Not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. Maybe I go rook g1 with the idea of a5 and g4. So after en passant, I can take with the bishop. But now I'm like still giving it up. I don't know how I feel about this. So maybe I would have been in some trouble if he did play b5, because I have to come up with a good plan here. Otherwise, the position is so closed. There are no open files. He doesn't need to castle. Like, how am I going to attack him in the center if there's no open files? So, actually, I might be in some real trouble if he just plays b5, a5, b4, a4. Probably a5, a4, and then b4. So my knight can't blockade. But still, like, I'm in some real trouble, actually, potentially. Because he'll always meet h3 with h4. So yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, this position is a little bit scary for me. If he plays b5 and just focuses on attacking me. But instead he plays c5. So he's trying to open, so he which is very interesting. It's actually a very educational moment, actually, because c5, he's opening up the center a little bit. I mean, this position is still closed, so I end up taking, because I didn't like the idea of c4, of him getting c4 and locking everything down and rolling his pawns at me. So I take, and now the center's opening up at least somewhat. Like this, like now we have an open line.
Breathe.
I can breathe. Yeah, I mean we both can breathe. I mean the thing is he has less space than me, so theoretically he should be the one that's more cramped. Sorry, I actually twisted my mic. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. But theoretically he should be the one that's more cramped. But still, it's not super easy. So here I was thinking about taking, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. Like, after he took on c5 with his knight, if I go bishop d3, was I like, do I really want to give up my light squared bishop for the knight? I just wasn't sure. I wasn't convinced it was that good. Maybe it's not bad. But if I'm not putting my bishop on d3, how am I getting my light squared bishop out? And if b5, let's say bishop d2, b5, h3, b4, my knight is awfully low on squares. In fact, it has to go here, and this looks ugly. Like, actually, if I went king b1 instead, the knight's just trapped. Actually, it's not trapped. That's wild. Wait, no, it's trapped. I thought he can't take like this because of mate. He can take like this, though, and I lose the game, and I'm sad. so never mind. Ignore that thought. But yeah, so I decided not to take on c5. I decided to play bishop d3 first. So then after he takes me, and I take back with the queen, now I control the c5 square, and he cannot get knight to c5 because I would just take it. So I was like, okay, so I think this is not that bad. But then after I put bishop d3, I was like, oh, wait. This is a little bit concerning because after takes, he has to move queen b6. If you know a lot about the Caro-Kann, oftentimes people play it because the endgame structure is really good. In this case, his light square bishop is so bad because of all of his pawns on the light squares. Maybe it's not that relevant, but I was actually really worried. I was like, if he plays queen b6, and if I take, he takes, am I really better at all? I actually couldn't figure it out. I was like, am I going to win this game if we reach this position? And I was like, do I really like this at all? And I was like, if I don't take the queen, what else do I do? Do I play queen d2? But then he gets his knight in, or he gets his queen in and forces a trade. And if I don't move my queen to d2, to move to e1, he still forces a queen trade. My queen's running out of squares if I don't trade queens. If I go queen f1, of course, then it's just a fork. So I was really worried about queen b6, and I was like, do I really want to play this queenless middle game? Like, am I really better here? But he plays knight b6. And I was like, what? I was like, I actually didn't see the idea. Because the a4 square is guarded by the knight. the c4 square is the c4 square. Like let's say I play h3, knight c4. I can just take, and there's this pin on the pawn to the queen. So I don't think knight b6 was that bad of a move. I thought, yeah, but at the same time, the idea of knight b6 is to move his bishop, to move his queen, to castle queenside. So there actually is good logic. It actually is a good move. Good move. Yeah, I mean, where else are you going to put the knight? There's no other squares for the knight. You could go here, I guess, to get your bishop out, then your queen out. So even though I didn't understand it in the moment, it actually makes a lot of sense to go knight b6 because he wants to prioritize development.
He needs to develop too.
Yes, he definitely needs to develop, for sure.
You have your rooks talking. You have your rooks talking. You got all your pieces off their home squares. You're castled. You're looking at a lot of defensive threats, but he's got nothing.
Yeah.
If everything like goes sour.
Yeah, he's got to get his pieces in. 100%. 100%. So I play h3, trying to open up. So let's say he just have a bishop e7 here. Bam, g4. And let's say, and if he moves back, f5, I'm breaking through. I got the guns going. I'm gonna try to open everything up right now, right here, yesterday. So at g4 if takes, then he doesn't have enough time to castle. Although in this case, I guess his king goes up and the knight guards the rook, I guess, which is wild. Anyways, he doesn't want things to open up because his king's still in the center. So after h3, he plays h4. And I think for a while here, because I have a big decision to make, I end up calculating a really cool way to make progress here for white. Really cool way to make progress. It is to give up my bishop for the knight. If he takes like this pawn is weak. So he takes like this, and his pawn structure is very solid. But now I play g4. And if he takes my pawn like this, that the pawn takes, this pawn is weak, and it's hanging right now. And if he pushes, then I'm going to win it. I'm going to win this pawn. So and if he takes en passant, well, I take back with the queen. I have this open file, and he's still at least 3 moves away from castling. So he moves his bishop. This happens in the game. Bishop d7 happens. I play queen g7. And his rook doesn't have that many squares here. If he goes rook h5, that could be good. I can't really target the rook very easily. But maybe I go knight g5 here. And after queen e7, I might make a move like what I did in the game, which was knight h7. Trying to rotate here. Although maybe in this case, this is not that bad for him. Although his rook looks awfully short of squares. But maybe he can just go back here. Maybe. I'm not sure what I would have done if he went rook h5. I thought it was good for me, but I don't see the best way to punish it. Maybe I go check. And then I don't even know. What do I do? It's a good question.
At least he can't castle.
He can't castle. Yeah, maybe I just go back here. And if he goes queen g8 defended by his rook, maybe I just go check here. And then I go here. Like, maybe this is good for me. Not 100% sure. But he plays a more natural move, which is to keep the defense of his back rank and play rook f8, guarding the f7 pawn. And now I play knight g5. And after queen e7, I go knight h7, and the rook is trapped. It can't go to g8 or h8, and it's got nowhere to go. And that's what I calculated. In this position, that's what I calculated. And I was very happy to see it because I was really struggling to find something that after all of this, the rook is trapped. And I win the rook. And so now I'm up in exchange, and now I just have to convert. More than that, more than being up in exchange, I have this awesome passed pawn. There's nothing that can get in the way of it. And nothing that can get in the way of it. No pawns to block it. And I'm just going to push this guy till the end of time. And just watch how I literally do just that. I push the pawn. He wants to go rook g8. So I stop him from going rook g8 by putting both my rook and queen on this file. And then he pushes his pawn. I move my knight to safety. He moves his bishop. I move my rook to safety. He moves his pawn again. I take it. He moves his knight. I push my pawn. He moves his queen. I push my pawn. He checks me. I move my king. He moves his queen to my position. I kick his queen. He doesn't. He blocks my attack. I push my. I move my knight. My knight is hanging actually. Yeah, my knight is hanging. Because it's being attacked by both of these. Although it's not really hanging, but my pawn is hanging with check. So, like for example, h7 check here, and let's say bishop queen here. If I take the rook, it's actually checkmate. And if I just push my pawn, then checkmate. So I was like, why am I giving up this pawn when I can just go here? I go knight c1, defending my pawn, and everything's well guarded, and everything's fine. Except he does take my f4 pawn, that's the one downside to move my knight back. My knight on e2 was defending my f4 pawn, but now it's not. But it doesn't matter because I push pawn. And then he plays bishop g4, guarded by his knight, or guarded by his pawn, and disconnecting my queen from the defense of my rook. So my rook is hanging, but I push pawn. And this is actually a funny moment. So I was using my set, and I lost my spare queen. I just don't have a spare queen now for the white pieces. And I was joking before the game, like, oh yeah, I won't be able to get a new queen. If I have a second queen, I won't be able to get one. And I had to pause the clock and like find a new queen because I didn't have one. So I didn't think that's just wild that actually happened. Like, how often does that happen? He does take my new queen though. He takes my rook. He could take, but then I take back with check, and after his king moves, I can just move my rook, and everything's guarded, and everything is good, and life is good. I can even go rook here to slide over here. But he doesn't take my new queen. He goes queen takes g3. And for the life of me, I don't take. And you may be thinking, well, you lost your rook, and now you're going to give up your new queen for two pieces? That may be what you're thinking is? That may be what you're thinking is? That makes no sense. That may be what you are thinking. But it's just checkmate. Because if he goes up here, then check, and he only has two squares. If he goes here, it's check, here, and mate. And if he goes, let's see. And if he goes here, it's just mate. And if he goes here, it's check, here, and mate. And like that is not hard to calculate. I've found more difficult checkmates before in my life, and instead of that, I'm just like queen here. Attack. I would win the endgame by trading queens. What? Just like what? What? Like you have to calculate like 2 moves deep for the checkmate, man. Like it's not like that was not a hard checkmate to find. That was not hard to find.
He did take your new queen.
Yeah, he did not take my new queen. He took my rook. But yeah, and then played queen e1 and I took, and he resigned. So I mean, this position is totally lost. I assume this is the only way to keep the game going, but like even then, I'll probably go check, and after king here, go like here or something like that. I don't know. I mean, he could also go here as well. But then I still have a queen and he doesn't. So I feel pretty good about my winning chances. Yeah. So overall, I think I played a decent game. I played a decent game, but not a great game. Like if we go back to the opening here, I need to figure out what to do differently here. I think I will turn on the engine just for the opening, just to figure out what I did wrong here. Because after bishop e7, bishop e3 is good. Nothing wrong with bishop e3. Knight d7, queen d2 is good. a3 is good. Queen d2 is good. And bishop d3. Like they're all good. Bishop d3 and c5. Oh, I see. After c5, now whoops. The d5 pawn is weak. And if you take first and then play c5, then I still have either knight of 3. Yeah, knight of 3 is fine apparently, or also d5 is good too. So okay, so apparently I shouldn't have been worried after bishop d3. Apparently bishop d3 is totally good for me. Apparently after e5, queen b6 is a strong move for him. I guess that attacks my pawn, and it's not the easiest to defend. Anyways, I'm going to turn off the engine now. So, okay, so that makes sense. But bishop d3 was good, and the way I was playing was not the most precise. The next moment I want to look at, maybe my whole approach with castling was actually bad too. Maybe I should have just tried to castle short. I'm going to turn on the engine for here too, because probably just b5 is good. Okay, according to the engine, it's 0.1. That's ridiculous. That is just equal. Oh, wait. No, it says now the engine's updating. It said it's minus 0.3. Okay. The engine thought about it for a bit. But I think this was kind of a scary position for me. I feel like black has better chances than white in this position, so I think I kind of screwed it up. Luckily, he didn't play in that way and played c5, and I had a pretty good game. And I was very proud of myself for this g4 move, and especially for winning the rook here. So I definitely have things to be disappointed about, because I feel like I gave him too many chances. But overall, I think I played well, and could be worse. It could be worse, that's for sure. So
it was a fairy tale ending.
It was a fairy tale ending. Yeah. All right. I'll hit the game review, and I'll see you guys in the next one.